What if I told you that right now, today, people around you are using psychological tactics to control your decisions, drain your energy, and keep you small? Not strangers, not enemies, people you trust, people you work with, people you love. Mr. Sticky had no idea this was happening to him for years. He thought he was making his own choices, living his own life, following his own dreams. He wasn't. And the moment he discovered the dark psychology being used against him, and learned how to use these same principles to protect himself and build real power, everything changed. This is that story. Pay close attention, because this might be happening to you right now. How Mr. Sticky was being manipulated. Mr. Sticky had a close group of friends, or at least he thought they were friends. Every time he shared a new idea, they'd say, "That's too risky. Be realistic." Every time he made progress, they'd find something wrong with it. "Yeah, but," was how every sentence started. Every time he felt confident, they'd bring up an old failure, casually, like it was just conversation. Psychologists call this tall poppy syndrome. When someone around you starts to grow, some people feel threatened. And instead of growing themselves, they try to cut you back down to their level. It's not always conscious, but it's always destructive. But that wasn't the only manipulation happening. At work, Stickman had a boss who used a tactic called gaslighting. Every time Mr. Sticky raised a concern, his boss would say, "That never happened," or "You're being too sensitive," or "Everyone else is fine with it. Why are you always the problem?" Over time, Mr. Sticky stopped trusting his own perception of reality. He started second-guessing every instinct, every observation, every feeling. This is exactly what gaslighting is designed to do, make you doubt yourself so deeply that you become dependent on the manipulator to tell you what's real. And in his personal life, an ex-partner had used something called intermittent reinforcement, the most addictive psychological trap in human relationships. Intermittent reinforcement is the same psychological mechanism that makes slot machines addictive. Random rewards, unpredictable kindness, love one day, cold silence the next. Your brain becomes obsessed with trying to win back the warmth. You change your behavior, you shrink yourself, you do whatever it takes to get back to the good moments. You become addicted to someone who is hurting you. Mr. Sticky stayed in that toxic relationship for 2 years, not because he was weak, but because his brain was chemically hooked. When he finally understood the psychology behind what was happening to him, he felt two things at once: devastated and free. The dark psychology principles Mr. Sticky learned. Mr. Sticky made a decision. He wasn't going to be a victim anymore. He was going to study the psychology of power, manipulation, and human behavior, not to use it against others, but to protect himself and build genuine, unshakable confidence. He read everything: Robert Greene, Cialdini, Carl Jung, Viktor Frankl, and slowly he built his own mental armor. Here are the most powerful principles he discovered. Dark psychology. Principle number 1, the law of least interest. In any relationship, personal or professional, whoever cares less holds the most power. This sounds cold, but it's one of the most important truths about human dynamics. When you need something from someone more than they need it from you, they have leverage over you, and most people will use that leverage consciously or not. Mr. Sticky used to over-explain himself in job interviews, over-apologize in arguments, over-text people who went quiet. This neediness was invisible to him, but everyone around him could see it, and they used it. The fix? Develop what psychologists call outcome independence. Train yourself to genuinely be okay with any result. The job, the relationship, the deal, want it, but don't need it. The moment you stop needing approval, your power in every room multiplies. Dark psychology principle number 2, strategic silence. Most people are terrified of silence. They fill it with words, excuses, and unnecessary information. Manipulators know this. They use silence as a weapon to make you uncomfortable enough to say more than you should. Mr. Sticky learned the opposite, to weaponize silence in his favor. In negotiations, state your position, then go silent. Let the other person feel the pressure to fill the space. In arguments, instead of defending yourself immediately, pause. Take 3 full seconds. The pause itself communicates confidence. It says, I don't need to react. I choose my response. In social situations, the person who speaks least but says the most is always perceived as the most powerful in the room. Silence is not emptiness. silence is control. Dark psychology principle number 3, the mirror technique. This is one of the most powerful tools from FBI negotiation expert Chris Voss. It's simple. Repeat the last 3 words someone says to you as a question. Person, I don't think this will work. You, won't work. That's it. The person immediately feels heard and starts explaining themselves more deeply. You gain information without giving any away. Mr. Sticky started using this in job interviews, salary negotiations, and difficult conversations. People thought he was an incredible listener. They opened up to him completely. He never revealed his position until he already knew theirs. Dark psychology principle number 4, control your narrative. Every person you meet forms a story about who you are within the first 7 seconds. This is called thin slicing, and research by psychologist Nalini Ambady proved that these snap judgments are surprisingly accurate and extremely hard to change, which means how you enter a room, how you carry your body, how you speak first. These things set your status in people's minds before you say a single meaningful word. Mr. Sticky used to walk into rooms apologetically, hunched, looking for approval. He learned to walk in differently, slower pace, head up, eyes scanning the room with calm confidence, a slight pause before speaking. These weren't tricks, they were signals, and other people's brains were reading those signals instantly. The narrative changed. People treated him differently because he showed up differently. Dark psychology, principle number 5, the scarcity mindset trap, and how to escape it. Most people operate from scarcity without knowing it. They take the first job offer because they're afraid another won't come. They stay in bad relationships because they're afraid of being alone. They say yes to everything because they're afraid of being disliked. This fear-based decision-making is exactly what manipulators exploit. The moment someone senses your scarcity, they will lowball you, disrespect your time, and take advantage of your fear. Mr. Sticky learned to build what psychologist Abraham Maslow called psychological security, a deep internal belief that you will be okay no matter what happens. This security doesn't come from money or status. It comes from one thing, a track record of keeping promises to yourself. Every time you say you will do something, and you do it, you build self-trust. And self-trust is the foundation of genuine power. How Mr. Sticky built real power. Armed with these principles, Mr. Sticky began to rebuild. Not his bank account first, not his career first, his identity first. Because here's what nobody teaches you. External success built on a weak identity always collapses. You've seen it. People who win the lottery and go broke. Athletes who retire and fall apart. Executives who lose their job title and lose themselves. Their success was built on external foundations. When those foundations shook, they had nothing underneath. Mr. Sticky decided to build his foundation differently. The first thing he built was boundaries. Not aggressive walls, not cold distance, clear, calm, non-negotiable limits on what he would and would not accept. He stopped answering work messages after 8 p.m. He stopped lending money to people who never repaid him. He stopped attending events out of guilt rather than genuine desire. And here's what shocked him. People didn't respect him less for having boundaries. They respected him more. Because boundaries communicate one thing louder than words ever can. I value myself, and I expect you to as well. People treat you the way you train them to treat you. The second thing he built was emotional control. Psychologist Daniel Goleman's research showed that emotional intelligence, the ability to understand and manage your own emotions, is a stronger predictor of success than IQ. Stickman used to react. Now he responded. He stopped letting others dictate his emotional state. If someone was rude, he stayed calm. Not because he was weak, but because he understood your reaction is always a choice. And the person who remains calm when everyone else is reacting instantly becomes the most powerful person in the room. Viktor Frankl, who survived the Holocaust, said it best. Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. So what does Mr. Sticky's journey mean for you right now, today? It means you need to do a ruthless audit of your life. Ask yourself these 5 questions. Question 1. Who in my life consistently makes me feel smaller after I spend time with them? That's not friendship. That's a drain. Distance yourself politely but firmly. Question 2. Where in my life am I operating from scarcity and fear? A job you hate but won't leave. A relationship you know is wrong but you're afraid to end. Name it. Question 3. What boundaries do I need to set but haven't because I'm afraid of how people will react? Set them this week. Start small. Watch your self-respect grow. Question 4. In which situations do I give my power away by reacting instead of responding? Practice the 3-second pause every single time. Question 5. Am I keeping the promises I make to myself? Because every broken self-promise chips away at the foundation of your confidence. Start with one small promise and keep it. Mr. Sticky is not special. He didn't have superpowers. He didn't get lucky. He didn't find a magic shortcut. He just decided one ordinary night on a cold bench that he was done being unconscious, done letting others write his story, done reacting instead of choosing, done shrinking to make others comfortable. He decided to understand the game of human psychology so he could play it with wisdom, integrity, and power. You can make that same decision right now. Not tomorrow, not when things calm down, not when you feel ready. Right now. Because the only difference between the person you are today and the person you're capable of becoming is a single committed decision. Make it. If this video gave you one new idea, share it with someone who needs it. And subscribe, because Mr. Sticky has more lessons coming. Lessons that took years to learn and will take you minutes to apply. See you in the next one.